Well, that was a shit show. So Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane took place last night, but ended abruptly in the first round after 4 minutes and 35 seconds due to a devastating eye poke, which basically meant that Aspinall couldn't see and the fight had to be stopped. And let me just make it clear, this wasn't an average eye poke. This was probably one of the worst eye pokes I've ever seen in UFC or MMA history. It wasn't just a light little poke either. The fingers of Gane actually pushed in to Tom Aspinall's eye socket, and Ciryl Gane actually used his fingers to push Tom Aspinall away from him. You can see in the footage that Ciryl Gane's fingers actually went inside of Tom Aspinall's skull. Now, do I think that Ciryl Gane did it on purpose? No. Judging by the way that he responded to it and the way he reacted to it in the moment, and after the fight was called off, he looked absolutely fucking devastated and very upset, very distraught, very annoyed, very like almost like he'd let people down. It wasn't ideal at all. It was horrific. And obviously I'm gutted for Tom. You've got to think about obviously what he's gone through recently of not being able to fight because of Jon Jones, and I will touch on that in this video, but not right now. And the fans are very divided. A lot of Tom Aspinall fans are saying that Ciryl Gane needs to be disqualified, that the gloves need to be changed to stop this from happening in the future. But then there are some fans that are claiming that he was quitting or pretending. They basically said that both eyes were poked, but Tom Aspinall was only acting like he got poked in the one eye. So he wasn't actually able to open his right eye despite being poked in both eyes. And this is probably because the right eye was the first to be poked. So the other eye likely didn't receive the same amount of force, causing more damage and pain to his right eye despite both of them being poked. And you can clearly see in that video there that his right eye is the eye that gets poked first. So the other eye, although it did get poked, it had been slowed down because the right eye had already been made contact with, so the left eye didn't have as much force going into it. But make no mistake about it, I mean, he probably had problems in his other eye as well. It's just that his right eye was actually in fucking agony, probably. And I'm obviously, like every other Aspinall fan, I'm absolutely devastated for him. I mean, this was the worst outcome you could possibly imagine, because if he had just gone in there and, you know, maybe got a TKO loss or a decision loss, you could look at that and go, well, at least we got to see a proper fight there. But this was the first round, and both gentlemen were both exchanging punches. Gane was landing a lot of jabs. Aspinall was landing quite a few right hands as well, quite a good few low kicks. He even landed a spinning back kick on Gane, which I've never seen Aspinall throw. But for the fight to end like this is really, really sad. You've got to remember as well, Tom Aspinall, has been 15 months since his last fight due to Jon Jones delaying things, and this is the outcome after those 15 months of being out of the octagon. So a lot of fans are saying that Gane was actually winning the first round until the poke happened. Aspinall had a strike rate of 42%, so basically 42% of his strikes landed, whereas Gane, 62%. Aspinall, however, in my opinion, was pushing the pace, and Gane was popping out a lot of jabs, and one of them made Aspinall's nose bleed. So basically how you score that first round up until that poke depends on what you're looking for. What do you value more in scoring? Aspinall was landing the bigger shots, whereas Gane was landing a lot more jabs. And a lot of people were saying that Gane was beating the shit out of him because of his nose bleeding. I think that's a silly argument, to be honest. I think both of them were exchanging pretty equally. They were just trying to figure out each other's range and getting into the flow of the fight. Just because one punch lands to the nose and it makes it bleed doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden winning that fight. You're beating that person up. Not necessarily. You know, it doesn't take much when you get punched on the nose to make it bleed, unfortunately. You hit the right spot with the right amount of force and it can just start gushing everywhere. It doesn't mean that you're losing the fight because your nose is bleeding. Aspinall shot a takedown against Gane, which was stuffed very nicely. Gane clearly has been working on his takedown defense after that Jones fight, because that Jones fight was fucking embarrassing for Ciryl Gane. I mean, seriously, that was not a good performance at all. So I do want to touch on this as well. I've actually been poked in the eye as well during sparring. Not both of them, just one. And when I did get poked in the eye, my vision in that eye basically went really fuzzy, really staticky. It was sort of grey sort of black, and I couldn't see fucking anything. Because I only got poked in that one eye, I was able to keep that eye closed and carry on with the spar, and I could still sort of see what was going on. I could still spar relatively well. But Tom Aspinall got poked in both eyes, so to say that he should have carried on is ridiculous, which is exactly what Chael Sonnen and Anthony Smith have been saying. They're saying that sometimes in MMA you just need to carry on despite you basically being blinded. That's just fucking stupid, mate. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I get it. You're a heavyweight champion or MMA. You shouldn't be against getting hurt. This isn't about getting hurt. This is about being blinded. If your vision's taken away, how can you fight? If you can't see your opponent, how can you fight? And people use Bisping as an example. Oh, yeah, he carried on fighting despite only having one eye. He didn't get poked in both eyes. He got head kicked and one of his eyes got fucking messed up. And obviously, kudos to him for carrying on with his UFC career despite only having one working eye. But Tom Aspinall just got poked twice in both eyes at the exact same time. Like, what do you expect him to do there? A lot of the fans in the audience were booing as well, and Tom Aspinall got quite pissed off with them, saying, what the fuck? Why are you booing me? It's not my fault I got poked. And then the replay of the eye poke showed on the screens in the arena, and everyone went, oh. And then they've actually realised what had really happened, and Tom Aspinall wasn't just faking it. Then they started booing Ciryl Gane, which, again, I don't think that that's necessary. I understand you're pissed off in the moment. It looks intentional. It kind of did. But the thing is, when you're in the octagon, when you're in a fight, you can't help it sometimes, like with those gloves. So sometimes different fighters fight differently. Some fighters fight with their fingers pointed outward, and some of them do that. And talking of eye pokes, that leads me on to Jon Jones. Surprise, surprise, Jon Jones has been mocking Tom Aspinall's performance. He changed his profile picture on X to a duck with an eye patch, so he's basically mocking Tom Aspinall there. The thing is, Jon Jones really does a great job of being a fucking twat, doesn't he? I mean, he really does. He didn't have the balls to get in there and fight Tom Aspinall. Right, he didn't have the balls to go in there and risk it. But then when he suffers an injury, it's not even a loss, it's an injury. You then mock him? I mean, you're really doing a great job of being a good person, aren't you, John? And that just goes into my point of Jon Jones is not the greatest of all time, because it's not just about your record. It's not just about how you win, how many wins you have versus losses. If you got no losses, blah, blah, blah. It's about mindset. It's about having honour. Mixed martial arts is about having honour and respect. That's what it's all based on, is respect. And Jon Jones, in my opinion, is just a piece of shit with no honour, and he just manipulates his fans over and over again. A lot of his fans are saying Jon Jones would have beaten Tom Aspinall because of his eye pokes, despite them being illegal, by the way. How can you even say that? How can you say that Jon Jones would have beaten Tom Aspinall with eye pokes if they're illegal? So if they're illegal, that means that he wouldn't have beat him because he would have got disqualified, or that it would have been turned, like this fight, into a no contest. It really just has opened my eyes just how fucking stupid some people are. No, they don't even think about what they're fucking saying here. How can you beat someone in a sport by breaking the rules? How can you be better than another player or another athlete in your sport, another fighter, if you have to break the rules to beat them? That's not exactly the way that MMA works. It's not the way that sports works. It's not the way the world works. You don't beat them by doing something fucking illegal and not allowed in the rule books. That doesn't make sense. And you've got to obviously think about how Jon Jones is just mocking Tom Aspinall here, as if he lost. He didn't lose. He got fucking gouged in the eyes. It's not a loss, is it? And you've got to remember as well, Aspinall actually sent his condolences to the Jones family recently after Jon Jones' brother Arthur died. And Jon Jones is mocking Aspinall despite that. What is wrong with this guy, mate? What is actually wrong with this guy in the head? If someone sends their condolences to you and says, oh, I'm really sorry to hear about your brother passing away, this, that, the other, how can you then watch their performance a few weeks to a month later and then laugh at them because an injury happened, because they got fucking injured? How can you laugh at someone like that? And that just shows to me that Jon Jones is an absolute dickhead. He's got no respect, he's got no honour, and he's clearly a bad person. But, that's not news here. Everyone knows that Jon Jones is a piece of shit. So as of yet, there is no news on whether or not there is any retinal or corneal damage to his eye. He was rushed straight to the Abu Dhabi hospital quickly after this fight ended. Obviously, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that there is nothing serious happened with his eye. I mean, if we found out that he's like clinically like blind in his eye, that would be absolutely beyond devastating. Like, to think about the run he could have went on, this, that, the other, but he got blinded. You know, that would be horrible to see. Obviously, I send my condolences to Tom Aspinall and his family. This is an absolutely horrific injury that is not going to be with him for life. Hopefully it heals, hopefully he recovers, and there is actually a rematch booked for Aspinall versus Gane, basically as soon as possible, as soon as Aspinall can get through the medical procedures and this and that, and he's been declared that he can fight again. So obviously I'm looking forward to that rematch. And yeah, to say that I'm a bit devastated is an understatement. I mean, all the hype for this fight, everything that Tom Aspinall has gone through in the last year or two, like with Jones fucking the UFC around, messing him around, messing his fans around, just delaying the whole division. And he finally gets to have a fight with someone, and it ends this way is absolutely horrible. So obviously I hope Tom Aspinall recovers very well, and I hope they can get back in there and settle this once and for all. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with my take. Do you think Tom Aspinall quit a bit too early? In my opinion, I don't. I think if you get poked in the eye like that, in both eyes like that, you have every right to say, no, I'm not risking losing my fucking vision for this fight. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think Ciryl Gane meant to do this or not. Do you think that Jon Jones would have beat Tom Aspinall with his illegal eye pokes? If you really do think that, if you really think that Jon Jones is better than Tom Aspinall because he could poke him in the eye, you're just a fucking idiot and you need to wake up. Seriously, you're just sucking him off. So don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn the bell notifications on so you get notified every single time I post a new video. And I will see you guys in the next one.